The nation's fourth case of BSE was discovered last week in a California dairy cow. While the animal was never intended for slaughter for human consumption, it did create a stir both in the markets and in the news. Joining us now with this week's Bottom Line is Neil Melancon. And Neil, fortunately, this was not a here we go again case.
Mike, there are some things in common with that case you're referring to, the one back in 2003, 9 years ago, that still affects the cattle market to this day. For one, the cattle market moved limit lower the day the new case in California was announced. And two, South Korea began limiting beef imports from the U.S. last week, something they stopped altogether in 2003 and only resumed a couple years ago. However, the reason I don't think we'll see history repeating itself is primarily because we're in a different situation in the cattle industry. We have historically low numbers in our nation's livestock herd, and the most recent cattle on feed report from the USDA shows a big drop-off in the number of cattle going into feedlots. This will translate into lower beef supplies at a time when the world demand for beef is climbing. I should also mention that dairy cow in California that tested positive did not get it from infected feed, was never slated for human consumption, as you said earlier, and BSE is not transmitted via cow milk. With these three factors in mind, most countries are not willing to go through the headache of shutting down imports based on such a non-issue, especially as they are facing high demand for beef and low supplies themselves. What this case of BSE might do in the short run is give us a small price break in the grocery store. We've already seen prices dip slightly lower due to the issue over fine textured beef, otherwise known as pink slime, that was raging a couple weeks ago. As Bob Stallman pointed out, though, grocery stores and school districts can't afford to range far for beef products.
When, say for instance, school districts find out it's going to cost them more not to have it, and I've been on a school board before, they're going to take another look at it, because it will ultimately boil down to a price situation, and it's a product that comes from cattle that provides some return into that carcass, if you will, that provides additional value, and there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be using it.
The bottom line is, with beef supplies hitting a low and summer grilling season kicking off here in a month, prices are sure to climb soon, Mike, so stock up your freezer while you can.
And Neil, let's certainly hope that case in California, as you said, was an isolated case. Neil Melancon, thanks. And remember, you can listen to any of Neil's daily reports on the Louisiana Farm Bureau radio network. For a list of stations where you can listen or tune in online, you can click on over to our website at twilatv.org and look for the LFB radio link on the left side of the home page. That does it for this edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Be sure to join us next week when we'll show you exactly what the new Farm Bill could mean to Louisiana rice farmers. It's the subject of a new report from the LSU Ag Center. Until then, you can watch any of our stories online. Just visit our website at twilatv.org. For all of us here at This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Michael Dana. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you again right here next week.